sleduješ Showcast a právě teď vedle mě sedí legenda Netsky. Hi Boris, how are you?
Great, I'm great, thank you so much. How are you?
I'm wonderful as you're here. I really cannot wait for your show as I listen to you since I'm 16 years old.
Wow, okay. Well, it's a beautiful day in Brno. We haven't really spent any time in Brno itself before. I've been to Ostrava and to Prague, obviously, but it's really nice to be here. The city looks beautiful. We're happy to be here.
Recently, you announced a collaboration with Rita Ora. I have to say that it's like a really recent thing. Yeah. It's just wow. Like, who came up with this idea? Did you ask her or did she ask you?
Yeah, she got in touch with us like only 3 months ago or something, and we were working on something in LA on a song, and it came together really quickly. Normally it takes a long time, and now it was all very, very quickly. She's a background in drum and bass, obviously. She did Hot Right Now with DJ Fresh and worked with Chase and Status on some stuff in the past. So it's a beautiful song. It's a song called Barricades. For me, it speaks a lot about like the situation in Ukraine, and like everybody's got a different story behind it. We're very, very excited to have the song out. It's beautiful.
I cannot wait.
In 4 days it's out. So quick.
Very, very. Netsky is a big name in drum and bass. Everyone knows that. How do you feel about the scene right now? How has it changed during those years, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, drum and bass has always been a genre that's been there. Like, it's never had a massive peak like dubstep did and then go away in Europe or anything. Like, it's always been there. And I thought I recognized the song. It's in a really interesting place right now. I think it's growing in America a lot, which it happened in the past, but now it's really like seeming to have its moment. It's hotter than ever. It feels actually in the UK as well on radio. Like there's some charting drum and bass again. It's really exciting. So it's going to be a fun couple of years, I'm sure. Yeah.
Before the interview, we talked, and you mentioned that you love to travel. Do you plan any big tours this year?
Yeah, we're on one right now. I think last weekend was the last weekend that we had off in the rest of the year, which is amazing. You know, like after 2 years of not really touring that much or not in Europe at all, it's incredible. Like, we haven't slept, so we came from Portugal this morning at 3 a.m. took the flight, but I missed it. You know, like I'm with friends and with my tour manager, and it's incredible. Like, just being on the road again. Seeing smiling faces, and I just hope, I hope it feels the same for promoters and people setting up festivals, because I know it's still a tough year for a lot of people, but we're just happy we're back on the road, for sure.
As you travel the world playing your music, is there any specific country that touched you that much that you reflected all this inspiration to your music?
Yeah, I mean, I get a question a lot, like, what is the country? And I find it really hard to pick one. There's like... honestly, there's New Zealand, which is an amazing fan base. There's definitely, this country, like there's been such a great following for drum and bass as well. Like, you had Let It Roll since the beginning here, and like people really making it a scene here more than other places. It feels like it's really living here as a scene rather than more just like for solo artists, which is incredible. I love South America. I love touring in America. I love South Africa. There's all these places, but I can't pick one. I love being here, but I love being in other places as well. Like, every place has got its pros and cons, I guess. But like, it's great here, really.
So everything is just like reflected in your music. All those places you've just been, everything like kind of touched you at least like a little. So you reflected it in your stuff.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I like to get influences from Latin music, so there's a little bit of that. Obviously English, like drum and bass is an English genre in the end. I like American music sometimes, so like, yeah, it's kind of from all over the place. Not really any Czech kind of musical references just yet, but if you have any ideas or anybody, send me anything through it, so yeah.
I will think about that if I have any tips. Do you have any funny story or like a faux pas what happened to you while you've been playing a gig?
Yeah, randomly we were just in the car earlier, and I was talking about the first time I played Glastonbury, which is a pretty crazy story. I had to like play, I think it was with Hospital Records back in the day. And have you heard of Glastonbury, the festival in the UK? Yes. It's very muddy. It's always raining and it's always very dirty. I was covered in mud up until here. And I remember I missed my driver to the airport to go to a gig in Belgium, and I was covered in mud, so I had to stop a taxi, and nobody would take me because I was a mud monster, like absolutely covered. So I went to the airport, and I felt so bad, surrounded by women, children, and businessmen at the airport, like being dressed really nicely. I bought a suit at the airport because like I was too muddy. You don't want to be muddy in an airport, especially not Heathrow. So I bought a suit, bought a bag to put my old clothes and my bag in. So I get to my next gig, beautiful, like in a beautiful new suit. And my friends are like, what happened to you? I'm like, I've been to Glastonbury. This is what you look like after Glastonbury. That happens a lot, those kind of things. But yeah, that was a fun day.
It's a good one. It's a really good one. You didn't expect this to come. So, last thing. What would you tell to a newcomer producer? What would be the message for people who are really new to music production and they're kind of like looking for their own sound, trying to make their own shit? What it would be?
Yeah, I mean, I think my answer to that question would have changed a lot over the last 10 years. Like in the beginning, I'd say find your sound and try and stick to it. Try and get influenced by the people and the producers you love, but try and find your own sound. I think now it's definitely changing quite a little bit because you really have to have an online persona. It's quite important to like be ready for the metaverse and be ready to like, you know, have an online presence that is just your personality or a personality. And it's not what I specialize in, you know, like I like making music a lot more than everything around it, but it's good. Really important, and I think the people that really are doing well in the last 5 years that like came up in the scene are people that are very comfortable with creating like an online persona, and I think that's a really big step right now. So unfortunately that comes with it, but some people love it, you know. Aside of that, obviously, like make music that you love. Never do anything that you know you don't feel comfortable with or you don't feel it yourself. But online persona, it's a big thing now. TikTok.
Definitely a good advice for a newcomer, like new days, internet is ruling the place.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Boris, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate that. Tohle byl Netsky a vy sledujete Showcast.